Hello and welcome to Board Game Bonkers. I'm Jay Sears and this is the Bonkers Show, and this is a show that we'll be doing monthly. And today what we're actually going to be doing is doing a random board game generator, which is on Board Game Geek. So we're going to look at various different board games randomly picked by Board Game Geek, and we want you to get involved at home. So what we're doing is bring up those board games, see whether we played them or not. We're actually going to look at the pictures and the name of the game, and we're going to try and guess what that game is like. So what kind of mechanisms do they use? How does it play? Before we actually go into the description of the game and look at the game mechanisms on Board Game Geek, we're going to pick some random games. We'll do this quarterly as part of the Bonkers Show, and the Bonkers Show is all about doing different things, a little bit unique and different, don't quite fit into our usual standard content that we bring to you. Hope you enjoy this. We want you to get involved, so please do so. Before we do that and dive in, please consider subscribing to the channel and also giving this video a like and leave a comment down below. Let us know how you did in this, and if you like to see us do it a little bit differently going forward, please let us know in the comments down below. So without the way, let's dive in and let's see what games we come up with. So the first thing we do is we go to browse, and you'll drop down, you will see random games. So we'll click on that, and as we can see, it takes a while. So we've got the Village Green, which is the first game we've come up. So it's a ranking of 7 out of 10, so that's pretty good. Came out in 2020. And Village Green, so it looks like you're obviously playing cards and doing some set collection. So let's have a look at some of the pictures. And we can see some here. So first image, so yeah, it looks like there's different cards laid out. It looks like there are set collection. You can see the symbols in the top left. Quite pretty artwork in this. I've never played it. I've heard about it, and for the life of me I cannot remember what it's about. So there we go. So I'm guessing it's definitely set collection. It looks like they'll be building a tableau of cards. Let's look at a couple more. Okay, so shall we go into the description and see what this game is all about? And this will also help us decide. We can sometimes come up with some really good, unique games, and it can actually be really good for finding some hidden gems. So hopefully we'll find some. So Village Green looks quite an interesting game. So it's the first day of spring, and there's only one thing on everyone's mind. The Village Green of the Year competition is just a few months. The judge of this prestigious contest will be visiting, and the village councillor you will finally put in charge of preparations. So in Village Green, your rival gardeners, your tasks for your respective communities will, so you're arranging flowers, planting trees, and commissioning statues. So there's hand management, and we actually haven't got, we've got tile placement, variable setup. So their tiles look like cards, not tiles. So that's interesting. And it didn't say their set collection. So let's have a look at the next one, and we'll randomly create another game. Let's see what pops up. Radio Questionnaire, 1920. Never heard of it. Haven't got a clue. 1928. That is an old game. Let's have a look at this picture. Let's see what this is about. A game from 1928. Right. Okay. So questions, I assume you're spinning the wheel, and you obviously see which question it lands at, and you've got to answer the question. Maybe the other side's got the answers. Very strange. Know nothing about this, never heard of it. Let's have a look at the rating. There's no rating, no comments. One comment. Okay, let's have a look at the comment. Let's see what someone has said. Great graphics. I don't know if he's taking the mic. Being serious, let's have a look at another one. Never heard of it. Let's see what other random game we come up with. Radio question, 1928. I think we're going back in time here and going through the eras of gaming. We've got Blur Travel Edition. So I assume this is obviously a website game of word racing. So it's a word game. Let's have a look. See what this looks like. 60 minutes this plays in. So a lot of travel. So 1 on 1. You plan for how much money you will earn and spend. Budget 1 or 2. 2 points. A pleasing series. So it looks like you kind of randomly picking one of the options. This looks different. Okay, let's have a. I've no idea. Do you have any idea how this will play out? Let us know in the comments. This would be interesting. See if you can guess how this will play. Are we playing cards? Or are we maybe we're selecting one of them? I don't know what the numbers are for. Let's see if there's anything else. Rapid word recall. Okay. Interesting. So, in the description, players take turns reading a simple definition aloud while other players blurt out guesses in a hilarious race for the right word. Alright, got you, so you try and guess what the word is. We've obviously seen modern takes in that genre in party games where you've got to guess what the words are. So this obviously is one of the originals. So travel edition of blurting includes 300 blurts and then the definitions on 50 cards. So obviously you've got to try and guess what the word is. Interesting. 1994. Let's see what else we get. Well, we're going through time. Perhaps we get one in the noughties. 2000. Oh, there we go. Yep, 2017. So Jitra Jitters. I have no idea what this is. The battle for Nagta. No idea. What's that? Is that Japan? December 12, 1941. This will be interesting. This is a war game, no doubt. For 1 to 2 players, although it seems like a solo game, and it's got hexagons, so it's definitely a war game. Yep, 100%. I've never heard of this war. I wonder if this is to do with Britain. So the situation of the Allies in Malaya. Oh, so it was kind of in the same, I suppose, area of the world, Asia. I do apologise, Japan, if I've offended anyone. So, obviously there's a war there, I never heard of it, and I know nothing about that history back then. So it was the first line of resistance of allies was at Chitra in the north of Malaya. So obviously it's part of World War II, and this was obviously possibly launch attacks on Japanese bases. Thereby keeping the enemy at bay. So obviously they looked like they were helping the Japanese. Interesting. So let's see what else we come up with. Hopefully we get a completely different game. Perhaps a modern game might go back in time again. Well, it's more modern. So like I said, it seems to be going through time. It's reading my mind. We are now in the year 2021. The Fox's Wedding. Looks like this is originally a Japanese game. There's not much in the way of pictures, so let's just go straight into, is this a kind of drawing game, do you think? Well, let's have a look and see. It says that the animals intrude into the wedding parade, trying to find their teammates. So it looks like it's kind of a hidden role game. No, it's bluffing, a card game, deduction. So this kind of looks like deduction, close to the movement, deduction. A naughty boy sneaks out on a monkey's wedding day and bumps into Foxy's secret wedding. So the boy now remembers his mother's warning. Foxes will punish whoever interrupts their wedding. So in this game, players take the roles of humans, fox, and a raccoon dog. Okay, strange combination, but hey ho. Try to find their teammates and acquire information through conversations with a limited time. 3 rounds and actions, peak, exchange, and complete their goals. So that's quite interesting. This looks different, and obviously it could be quite chaotic, where the humans are trying to rescue the little boy from the wedding parade. It's a shame there isn't any pictures. I've never heard of this game. In fact, I know very little about Japanese games. I've got one called Greedy Kingdoms, which I would highly recommend. I might actually do a review of that one day. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like me to do a review of Greedy Kingdoms, which is big in Japan. Let's check out another random game. So far, we haven't had any we know about. Next, we've got As Majesty. It came out in 2004. This looks a heavy game, a weight rating of 4, although there are only 2 ratings. 2-player game. So let's have a look. It looks kind of almost chess-like. So let's look at the pictures. Yeah, they look interesting miniatures. Let's have a look at the board. It definitely looks like it has that kind of chess feel to it, doesn't it? And I'm guessing that's what it's based on. So let's have a look at the description. So a game, As Majesty, is a chess-like game, I was right. played between two contenders, moving pieces of a hexagon field. So I'm glad I got one correct, because the others were kind of hit and miss. Never heard of this. If you like chess, perhaps that's something that's is up for you, but there's so many different variations of chess. But I'm kind of one, it's not a huge fan of abstract games, but perhaps you are. It might be worth checking out. Let's see what else we come up with. Because we need to get some epic games. Have we got any epic games? No. We've got Champions of Air. Is it Air? Air? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Obviously no ratings. We don't even know when it came out. Let's have a look at the pictures. So I wonder if this is a game. It looks quite nice actually. The artwork I like. I think it looks great. So I'm wondering, this looks like, is it German? German release? So it looks like you, are you producing materials? You are wood, wheat, etc. So I wonder, the artwork's a bit scary. Okay, let's see if we can find another better picture. There we go. So it looks like you're obviously gathering resources and perhaps going out to maybe build things to then go to war and fight. So let's have a look at the description and see whether I'm right. Then perhaps it'll be some card management. It looks like you're going through eras. So the description is, the Champions of Air is a semi-competitive strategy. Now I'm not a fan of semi-co-op or semi-competitive. I just, for me, it doesn't work, and perhaps I'll do a talk on that one day. So this is a semi-competitive strategy game for 2 players about might, exploration, resource management, set in a fantastic world of air. I think that's how you pronounce it. So you control champions which explore the hazardous map. Then you have to overcome risky challenges. Choose between the 5 factions of unique playstyles. So there is obviously a bit of economy, there's exploration, kind of fantasy, fighting. So I got some of it correct. Let me know in the comments. Let me know, did you get it right? Did you get any of this correct? It was quite a tough one, this, to try and get it. I really like the look of this though. This looks really nice. Champions of Air. It's a shame it doesn't look like this is a game self-published, so I wonder if this is any good. I wonder if we can, well, perhaps contact the designer and see whether there's any chance of doing a print and play to see what it's like. Let's look at another random game. We'll do a couple more. We're going well. We haven't had, well, we had a couple of obscure ones. We haven't had too many, what I'd say is really strange, obscure ones, apart from perhaps the one that came out really early. So, Surfer is next, 2018 this came out. It's got a rating of 5.5, so this is below average. Really light game, 1.5 weight rating, only 4 ratings. It looks like from the pictures you're kind of moving around and perhaps revealing the tile, rolling some dice as well, that perhaps will influence where you can move. So you're surfing, so perhaps it lets you know what type of surfing move you do, depending on the type of water, I'm guessing. So every round the dice are rolled and it creates new waves. It's always close, and players can move surfers. I was thinking of washing powder there. Surfers on their turn and have different results depending on their choice. Surfers can get a small score on the waves near the beach, or go out to the sea a little further for a bigger score. So there is obviously push your luck, dice rolling, so that's interesting. Area movement. Looks very basic. Looks like a quick game. Hasn't got a great score, so I'm not holding my hopes for it being a good game. Let's look at 2 more. Next up, once it decides to load, and perhaps we'll wait a bit longer because as well, I thought we broke the website there. We have War Plan Crimson. So it came out in 2001. It's a war game. And looking at the background pictures, obviously you've got hexes, and no doubt this will have tokens for troops that you'll be deploying out. Yes, I'm right, it's a 2-player game based on World War II. And yep, it depicts the area city of Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada. So it's a simulation of the invasion of Canada by the United States. Okay, so that's a war game. If that's your kind of thing, great, fantastic. It's not my kind of thing. Usually I find war games quite basic in terms of the graphic design element, the artwork. Let's look at one last game. Let's hope that we get an epic game, but going by the looks of things, it looks like this one is, well, some rather unknown games, some unusual games, and certainly no epic games. And we have Havoc Skirmish Battle Set, so another war type game. There seems to be a lot of these popping up. 1997 that came out, average rating of 5.9. It's a two-player game, lots of two-player games. It's got some minis. Let's have a look at these. These look quite good. Well, well, well. These are not bad. The detail is quite good actually. It's not too bad. To be fair, this is obviously not the standard of cool mini or not, but this looks clearly a kind of almost fantasy type war game. Not quite fantasy, but certainly going towards that way. You've got different stats, and you'll be fighting against each other, I'm guessing. So what is the Havoc Skirmish system? So, it doesn't really say much. So it was intended to fill a gap in the market by posing as a cheap alternative to Warhammer. That's interesting. Unfortunately, bad marketing and Bluebird Toys financially shut down, cost the game dearly, and the line along the Bluebird Toys company folded in 1997. That's interesting. So this came out in 1997, and the publisher folded in 1997. So it's sold exclusively through Argos stores. Interesting. So I wonder if you can still get this. Let's have a look at one last picture. There's obviously dice rolling in this, which is resolving the combat. But this, for a game came out in 1997, this looks pretty good. I love the miniatures. Look at them. They look fantastic. So that brings us to the end of this. We really hope you've enjoyed it. I'd like to thank you for taking part in this. I hope you've enjoyed it as well, and I hope you've got involved, because I think that's what makes it fun. So we'll be doing this every quarterly, and let us know in the comments down below. Is there anything you'd like us to do a bit differently? Perhaps you'd like us to do this longer, but we don't want to do it too long. We want to keep it quite shorter videos and snappy and to the point. But please also consider, if you haven't already done so, subscribing to the channel and give this video a like as well if you've enjoyed it. And we'd love to get involved, so the more you get involved, the better and more enjoyable it'll be for you as well watching these videos. We really hope you enjoyed it. My name's Jay Sears, this is the Bonkers Show, and until next time, take care.
This is Bonkers.